Okay, let's bring in our guest. She's a professional softball player who became the first woman ever to win a Rawlings Gold Glove. That's incredible. The first woman ever. And now she's helping you win money on baseball and more as a member of the BetMGM family. AJ Andrews, what's going on? Welcome.
Hello. Yes, thank you so much for having me.
We're so excited to have you. This is so exciting. Welcome to the family. Everyone here is so awesome. I think you're going to be very happy with BetMGM. I know we are. But let's talk a little baseball and softball, of course. But first, I've got to ask you about this. This is so cool. I'm not sure if many of our listeners know this. Last year, you trained with the U.S. Olympic skeleton team. What was it like picking up an entire different sport? I mean, softball and skeleton only have one thing in common, and that's that they begin with an S.
Yeah. And sliding. There's sliding in both sports. But
there you go.
Yeah, for me it was really interesting. I'm one of those people that just love trying new things. I don't know if it's a toxic trait or if it's a great quality that I truly think I can do anything. And so, I went into skeleton. A friend of mine, Alana Myers, who is a renowned Olympian in bobsled, she played softball in college. And so we've just been connected throughout the years. And I just kind of asked her, I said, Alana, I want to win a gold medal. Like, let me know more about bobsled. How can I get involved? And so I went to a camp June of 2021 and did both bobsled and skeleton there. And it was on a push track, so no ice. But I don't have the size for bobsled. And so went more into skeleton. And, it was really interesting. My first time on the ice, very terrifying. But it redirected and, kind of rewired the way that I viewed fear, or at least embraced fear, because every time I felt I felt nerves before a softball game, but I've never been genuinely afraid, right? Of going up to the plate or going out on the field. And I was terrified going on the ice, even after the first one. Like every single time I was nervous. And so, but I still did it. And so it kind of completely changed the way that I addressed fear, as to allowing myself to feel it rather than try to write it off or get rid of how afraid I was. Feel those emotions, feel how I am feeling in this moment, but then allow it to pass. And I'm excited to see how that's going to translate when I get back on the field for softball. I've never been someone that's afraid of failure, but I've also always been someone that's tried to turn my mind into, okay, you got this, versus feeling it and letting it pass. So yeah, I'm excited how, the two sports, while very different, will complement each other in my success, and hopefully both of them.
You mentioned sliding. Was your love of sliding part of why you picked skeleton? Because you're known for sliding, reaching for balls. You even famously broke your hand once and then continued to play the whole season with a broken hand, and you broke your hand from sliding. So you're definitely, right. You may have gotten over your fears, but it sounds like you have no fear of pain.
Yeah. I definitely fear of pain. Yeah, I don't have a fear of that. I guess I don't have a fear of, I don't think about those things. So like in the moment, only thing I can think of is my goal, right? So when I broke my hand, I was just thinking about to rob this girl of a hit, right? I just want to make this diving catch, and that's it. And then there's times that I've run into the wall. I'm not concerned or even thinking that the wall is there. I just want to make the catch. So my brain turns off to the things around me. And yeah, so I think that as far as sliding and what I'm going into, I just think it's a part of who I am. I'm just try to slide in and make the best plays. So hopefully in skeleton, I can slide in and win a gold medal.
How did you play softball with a broken hand? Did you take Advil? I mean, how do you continue to play with a completely broken hand?
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I would wrap padding around my hand. It was my glove hand. So thankfully, it only hurt when a ball landed in my glove. But, I would have padding. And then when I would swing, my swing got pretty jacked up. I started to, really let go early and just kind of swing with one hand. But for me, it was just, I wasn't going to stop. And, honestly, the year that I broke my hand was the year that I won the gold glove. So, I'm happy and I'm thankful I didn't stop. And I remember actually, I think the play that really solidified me winning the gold glove was it was the first time I dove and made a diving catch after breaking my hand. And it was a really great catch going backwards. And I remember always, we talk about fear, right? I have been fearful of landing on my hand wrong if I made a diving catch again and just completely shattering it and not being able to get back on the field. Like, there are all these thoughts. And then in that one play, I was kind of solely back on focused to my goal. And it had been the first time since I broke my hand that I wasn't thinking about what might happen if I land on it. And I just wanted to catch the ball. And that was the play that I think got me to win the Gold Glove. So it's a really cool story and a cool, aspect of not allowing, I guess, even a broken hand to stop you from your goals and your destiny.
That is awesome. My blood is pumping. I feel like I need to go run a mile or something right now. Have you ever thought about coaching or aspirational speaking in the future?
Yeah, I work with a lot of young girls. I coach. I used to do a lot of lessons outside of when I was in college with a lot of the young athletes. And it really is a passion of mine, talking to young girls and just women in sports in general. And so it's really cool to be able to see, especially a young athlete that didn't have the confidence, like when you get done working with them, have a little bit more of a pep in their step. So it definitely is something I enjoy to do.
You keep mentioning a gold medal. You won a gold medal. The U.S. softball team was at the 2020 Olympics. They'll be back at the 2024 Olympics and has placed silver at the last two. So what do you think is in the future as we look ahead in U.S. softball? What's the state of U.S. softball?
Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping it continues to grow. And being the fact that the Olympic committee in the country that the Olympics will be in each year or each 4 years decides what sports are in it. I mean, softball hadn't been prior to this past Olympics for, I don't know, like 10 years. I mean, it was so a while.
Crazy.
And
a lot of people know that.
Yeah, I know. And I don't think a lot of people understand that the countries choose the sports that get to be in the Olympics. So if it's not a big sport in that country, it's not going to be in the Olympics. So softball, big in America and big in Japan, right? So of course it was in this past Olympics, but the Summer Olympics are going to be in, I believe, Paris in the next Summer Olympics, and it's not big in Paris. So it may not be in Paris. And so then you have the girls then having to wait 8 years because after that it will be in LA. And so, it's hard to not, in 8 years, a lot of girls are going to retire. And it's sad to think that every 4 years you don't get that opportunity. And sometimes you have to wait, like Japan, for a lot of softball players. Like, that was it. Like, if I didn't make it to this one, then that's probably going to be the end for me. And hopefully softball continues to grow to where we don't have to have the weight of hoping that the Olympics is going to be in a country that likes softball, and it can continue to move on and be solidified every 4 years and something we can all watch.
Right on. So let's go back to LSU for a second. You were there during a time that there was another big star there, Odell Beckham Jr., OBJ. Did you guys ever get a chance to hang or train together? Do you know him at all? Any stories?
Yeah, me and him came in at the same time. So we're the same age. We were freshmen came in 2011. And then also Odell, but also Alex Bregman was there at the same time as me. And so, yeah, there are a lot of Tigers out there doing it big in the big leagues. But yeah, me and Odell, we were really cool. We were cool in college. He was somebody, we lived in the apartments on campus, and we called it WCA, but we called it as the athletes club dub. All the athletes lived pretty close to each other. He lived in the infamous Building 8. And if you ever talked to him or any athlete or football player that lived in Building 8, like that was the building. And so, it's very cool, and it's fun to, whenever I see him sometimes at different events or at SBs, and it's cool to connect after so many years of, the grind that we put in wearing purple and gold, and to see it now being shown to the world in the professional sport. So really proud of him and all that he's accomplished, and now that he's a new dad, and I think it's really cool to watch him succeed.
Awesome. Let's shift gears a little bit to the baseball season right now, as that is what you're going to help with BetMGM doing. Baseball to me is evolving every season. They are continually trying to figure out ways to bring in more fans, from the speed of the game, eliminating the shift, to miking up players during telecast this year. what's something you would like to see the MLB do, or maybe something they've already done that you think has made a big impact?
Yeah, I think that, just continuing to give athletes, the players, more of the spotlight to just show who they are as people. What makes them unique, what makes them authentic. I think what different leagues like the NBA or NFL do so well is that yes, you're a fan of the league, you may be a fan of a team, but you also are a fan of a certain player and just the pizzazz that they bring, right? Whether it be their style, whether it be things they like to do off the field, right? You know more about those players and what they do off the field as well as their stats on the field. And I think if baseball can do the same and really be able to portray those athletes in that way to where, yes, I love watching Mike Trout play or Judge play, but I also really like him as a person, right? Knowing those personal stories about those people, I think that's what makes people real fans of people, even when they're not doing well. I think it's easy to be a fair weather fan unless you actually know the person and you enjoy who they are as in their character. And I think being able to tell more of those stories with the MLB will continue to allow people to connect more with Major League Baseball and the people that play.
This year, I think he's a little bit before your time, maybe, but I'm sure you're aware of Ichiro. As a softball player, baseball fan, he's getting into the Hall of Fame. I consider him maybe the best hitter of all time because when you look at his Japanese numbers, he has more hits than Pete Rose and Ty Cobb. Who is your favorite hitter who you've watched? Someone who's wowed you with their ability to do the hardest thing maybe in sports, which is hit a baseball and get hits.
Man, yeah, I definitely love Ichiro because when you talk about that, I think so much when people think of hitting, they think of just the bomb, right? They think of the big hits, they think of the home runs, and they don't think about the players that get on base to allow those people who do hit the home runs every single game or every other game to score the runs. And it's about being efficient and being consistent, softball and baseball. And so I was actually having this conversation with Kenny Lofton this past weekend, who is one of the best base stealers to ever be in MLB. And he was talking about how that's missing in the game, right? Everyone's considering and keep talking about having the big hits rather than just being consistent and how you don't really see players like that anymore. And so I would say that, Giancarlo Stanton, even though he's a big hitter guy, like that's been one of my favorite players to watch for a really long time. And I just really, but I do think that players that can put the bat on ball, and be really efficient can help the big hitters when they come up.
You mentioned Kenny Lofton, who did steal a lot, and that's an art in baseball that's kind of changed. A lot of guys don't run anymore. When I was growing up, you had Ricky Henderson, Vince Coleman, guys who would put up big steal numbers. Do you think that's something that metrics has done to the game? Would you like to see more of it? You were someone who was very fast and stole bases. Why do we see less bases being stolen?
I don't know. I think that stolen bases add so much electricity and excitement to the game. And, there's players that are speed players. And you look at the athletes that go on. It's just exciting, right? Someone gets on base, you're like, what are they going to steal? What are they going to do? And then also, when you have someone that's fast, as an athlete, it makes you nervous, even if you're in the outfield, because now it adds more pressure onto you where you miss this ball, that single is going to be a double or triple for said person because they're fast. And if they get on base as a pitcher, now you're concerned about whether they're going to steal on you. Now you're distracted. You have so much more to think about than just trying to throw a strike. And so I think that I don't know what has made that shift. I don't know why it's changed so much, but I do think if baseball can get back to that, again, we talk about how baseball is a dying sport and it's not exciting anymore. Bringing more of the exciting elements back into the game, such as base stealing, I think would do baseball so much justice. It's fun to watch those fast players. It's fun to watch a home run. But to me, when you have someone fast on base, when I was on base, I would love to create havoc, right? Pretend like I'm stealing, didn't go, maybe not go, delay steal. You see a team become depleted when someone is just taking control out on the base pass. So I would love to see more of that again.
You mentioned Alex Bregman earlier, your fellow Tiger. He looked really good opening week. Astros all-star third baseman. Astros looked really good. A team like Toronto, who had a lot of attention with a lot of young talent, a lot of offseason moves. They had a good opening week. what else sticks out to you from this first handful of games that we saw? Any early reactions?
I don't necessarily have too many early reactions. I think I'm excited to see more about what the Braves are doing. I think always seeing a team bounce back from winning, from winning the whole thing is what's interesting. I think they had a decent weekend, but just more improvement, especially after losing a leader. And just what a young team like that can do moving forward and see if they really still have that pizzazz that they had the past year. For me, I just think it's just kind of watching the teams. There's been so many moves in this offseason, so many trades, and just consistently watching how those play out. For me, it's hard to really tell from the first weekend. But I think once we continue to get more into the season, second weekend, third, that's when you really see what you're probably what's gonna play out for the rest of the year.
All right, we got to talk about my team. I'm a huge Yankee fan. I'm from New York.
Okay.
Yankees are my squad. That's my squad. I liked it when you said Stanton there. But
Yeah.
Aaron Boone, he gets a 3-year contract extension this offseason, which doesn't seem like the Yankees. They don't do that. Do you think he deserved it? Like, do you think he should have more postseason success before he gets that big extension? What's your thoughts about that?
To me, it does seem uncharacteristic because I feel like anytime a Yankee gets those extensions, they've 100% have proven themselves, right? It's undeniable that so-and-so deserves whatever they're going to be getting. But I think it proves to how much they believe in him. It proves to how much they believe in his potential and what's to come. And maybe it's a shift in the Yankee organization. They're very old school, right? And so potentially this is something you see changing. How do you feel about that? I mean, you being a huge Yankee fan, like, do you like seeing things change or would you like it to remain the same?
That's a good question. I mean, I like them to remain the same because they do a lot of winning. So if this change means they're not going to be doing a lot of winning, then I'm not a fan of it. I love the evil empire. And, if this is a change that's going to affect if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm a little worried. I mean, Aaron Boone, he hasn't proven himself. Giving him this type of security after, not really having the success the Yankees are used to in the playoffs is a little concerning because I just don't want him to get too comfortable sitting there with his chew or his sunflower seeds and thinking he's got a cushy job now. I mean, look, we have high expectations. I want you to, maybe we need you on the Yankees to steal some bases.
Listen, I would love to, but you talk about a winning team. I don't know. They haven't won the World Series since what?
Good point.
2009? It's been a minute. So
yeah.
maybe there needs to be a little bit of a change. I mean, it's great. Second place, it doesn't count. Almost doesn't count. You know what I mean,
Right.
Honest? Like, you get close, but until you win it, you really don't get any bragging rights.
You are right. It has been a little while. I always forget that, but it has been. I mean, that's a long time ago.
Can't forget.
The other team in New York, though, has a lot of expectations, too. I think if the Mets can get to the postseason with a healthy Scherzer and DeGrom, they could be unstoppable. Yannis, you can plug your ears if you don't want to hear any of this, but staying healthy might be the issue. As Scherzer is older, DeGrom's already out for a couple months. How careful are the Mets going to be, or how careful should they be, really, with a season where we only see them make 10 to 15 starts with those two?
I would say being careful, just because I feel like the talent that they've acquired this year their chances of going a long way, I think, are high. So I think making sure that you have a strong pitching staff, also keeping the players, your best batters in the lineup healthy, making sure they're not getting targeted, when they're up to bat. A lot of them were getting hit this past weekend, but I'm hoping that I think that being careful, just because I think they have so much talent, and this is a really talented Mets team, and I think moving forward, if they can keep everyone healthy, I think they may have a better chance than even the Yankees. Shall I say?
Wow. Yeah, that was going to be my follow-up question, but you just answered it. So, okay, you go in, the Mets are going to have a better season than the Yankees. All right. I'm not going to take that personally. I hope you're wrong. Let's just say that.
Well, AJ, we always like to play a game with our guests that kind of transcends sports a little bit. So this is part sports, part real life. So are you ready to play our game?
Yes. What's the name?
Well, That's the thing. We don't really have a name for this one. It's more about unwritten rules. Unwritten rules in baseball. And unwritten rules. And there are unwritten rules in life. Let's start with a baseball one. You tell us what you think. We're going to give you the situation. You tell us what you think. So an easy baseball one. An unwritten rule, you should not show up a pitcher after you hit a home run and flip a bat or dance around the bases. Yes or no?
No. No, I mean, yes, and you can do it. No, I don't believe in the unwritten rule. Okay. No, I don't believe in the unwritten rule. Like, if
let the guys have some fun.
Are hard to come by. Like, let people celebrate. That brings excitement. You've worked hard for that. If you don't want the guy to celebrate, don't throw it down the pipe. I don't really know I don't understand, like, being upset about it. Like, you allowed that to happen, and now you're mad. I've never understood that.
I like it.
Okay. I like it. I agree with you. And yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying. You're basically saying, hey, baseball, get into the modern era. Let these guys showboat a little bit.
Well, let them show their personality. It's fun.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, another baseball one. Unwritten rule, never bunt to break up a no-hitter. Yay or nay?
I don't care. I think, yay, you can do it. Just because it's a bunt's a hit. Like, I don't know. I don't understand why that's I say, yeah, you can do it.
AJ,
I love it. Yeah, she's competitor. She's like, whatever. Look, if whatever it is, fuck these unwritten rules.
I just think, first of all, when someone's bunting, you see them about to bunt, you have ample amount of time potentially to go run up and get it. Hopefully your third baseman or first baseman is athletic enough, or if it comes right to the pitcher, you've done enough PFPs to figure out how to get over to first base. I just think that a bunt's a hit, and for you to be upset for someone boosting their batting average, like, no one wants to be the team that someone got a no-hitter off of, right? So, yeah, I'm a bunt.
Hell yeah, do what you got to do.
I already know how you're going to answer this next one because I know how you are. You are ruthless. Don't steal bases when you're up big late in the game.
Okay, well, this one is probably different from what you think. I think if you're up by a lot and there's probably about no chance the team's going to come back, have a little ease, a little mercy, and not steal bags. I think that's the least you can do. You got to hit. You can stay at first. You don't have to take second.
All right, just a little. You're showing a little heart for the losing team. I like it. Just a little though.
Only because I'm winning. Only because I'm already winning. Right? No stop.
All right, let's move into some non-baseball unwritten rules. Okay, have some fun. Never text someone you're flirting with after 10 p.m. Can you do it?
He means
you can do it.
Up.
Yeah,
you up text is fine?
You at 10 o'clock, like, I'm probably up, right? But if you texted me at, I don't know, 12:30 and like, hey, you up?
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Or I'm just not gonna reply.
Could I text you after 12 if I'm asking you about Ohtani, if the scouting report on Ohtani is gonna hurt him this year? That's fine, but no you ups. But if I'm talking baseball, can I text you at 1 in the morning?
As long as it's understood, I'm probably not going to respond. I'm going to text you back and be like, you really couldn't wait like 8 more hours to text this at like 8:30 a.m. Yeah.
Okay. Right. What about unwritten rule? Don't wear white to a wedding.
Oh, for sure. Do not do that.
Yeah. We agree on that.
You would be escorted out of my wedding if you did that.
Oh, yeah. See?
Because, everyone knows that. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so if you do that, that's just like, you wanted to start some drama.
I've heard of people's mother-in-law showing up in white to their wedding, like not planned, like not like a let's all wear white thing, but their groom's mom wearing white. No.
There's this thing on TikTok, and it's "Am I the a-hole?" and like people tell their stories, and so a woman on there said, "Am I the a-hole that I got my bridesmaid to her mother-in-law wore white to pour red wine on her mother's dress accidentally to make her change?" And I think absolutely not. First of all, go bridesmaid. I would have thought to do that anyway, but
Now, why is that? I'll ask you, is that just not to compete with the bride? Is that what it is? Is that what? Why is that a rule? I don't even get it.
One person wearing white at the wedding and it's a bride.
Yeah.
You guys are vicious. Women are vicious.
It's a thing. Like, it's the bride is wearing white. You know that. If you want to be the center of attention, just wear some other kind of gown. You don't need to wear white. No. It's just, it's her wedding. Like, I don't know. That's a lot.
All right. All right. Here, I'm a comedian, so I'll ask you this one. Never heckle a comedian while he's on stage, or else he's allowed to unleash all hell on you. Yes? No? You back the comedians? Are you Will Smith or Chris Rock?
I thought comedians liked a little bit of heckling, no? Because, I mean, it gives...
No.
I don't know. I'm not... You don't? They don't?
No, we never like it. We never like it. Yeah.
Because sometimes I see it and they, like, go in on the person, and it makes the whole thing... Not that it wasn't already funny, but it brings a lot more humor to it. And so, yes, I believe if you're going to heckle, you should understand that, all right, you wanted this time... It's time for them to shine on you. So if you're going to heckle, be ready for what's to come. I believe in that for sure.
Got it. All right. I like that. Thank you for backing us.
Here is the last one to sum us all up. Unwritten rule. Never brag about your bet or someone else's bet that is about to win before it officially wins.
Oh, yeah. I think I agree with that. It's kind of like when you go into a game or it's a no-hitter, right? Everyone in the dugout's like, it's a no-hitter, talk about it. Like, you're supposed to talk about it if you're the team that's about to get or have the no-hitter against. But if you're on the other team, you don't talk about it, right? If your pitcher's about to have a no-hitter, you're not supposed to speak on it, not to mention it, or else it feels like it always jinx it. And so I think that kind of like the same thing applies. Don't talk about it. You're going to jinx it. Like, let it play out. Let it play out.
I love it.
I got it. Yeah. All right.
You are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today and previewing some of the MLB action to come. You can follow AJ Andrews on Twitter at AJ_Andrews. And thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you guys for having me.